Weekend Huddle here on 102.5 The Game. Good morning. Happy Saturday. Happy college football game day to all who celebrate whatever your team may be. We are all here for the same common goal, and that is football. We've made it, ladies and gentlemen. It is a big day for college football. Connor Newt, Nick Frazier, Parker Kelly here with you this morning, 9 to 11, getting you set for the big game today, Texas-Ohio State. Of course, the big one, but some other big ones as well. Clemson and LSU will do battle tonight, and the biggest game of the day, Kentucky and Toledo, as God intended. Not actually.
I mean, top 10, top 5 matchups. That's what we want.
I mean, Kentucky's looking for their 14th consecutive national championship, so I think this is a big one.
Yeah. I mean, you're all Kentucky.
I know. I'm decked out. It's game day.
Are you?
Hey, watch out for Toledo, Connor. Watch out for the Fighting Rockets over there.
You just scared the absolute shnikes out of both of us, as loud as you are. Good morning, everyone. Nick Frazier. Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy to see you in the flesh.
Yeah. How did last night go, by the way?
It was great. We had a little bit of trouble at some point getting some guests on, and then sure enough, at about 10:45, we were loaded top to bottom. We had Coach Jeff Brothers from Nashville Christian on. We had Coach Paul Wade from BA. Big win last night for Nashville Christian, by the way. I don't know if you saw that.
I think so. Is that the double OT?
Double OT.
Woo.
Nashville Christian pulls out the win. Jared Curtis apparently had like 3 touchdown passes. He's electric, by the way. On all accounts I've had, the reporters I had out there last night, he is, in fact, as advertised. The 5-star committed to Georgia. He's going to make some Bulldog fans out of some people.
And we're not talking Mississippi State either, unfortunately.
No. Mississippi State plays today.
They do. Take on Southern Miss, and according to Joe Dubin's son-in-law, tickets are $1,100 a pop.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Big game today, I guess.
Yeah. Sell out.
Battle of Mississippi.
They're going to sell it out. Bring your cow. Actually, don't bring your cowbells. I learned someone has to buy it for you.
Yes.
That's bad luck.
That is bad luck. I was telling Connor not too long ago, don't buy your own cowbell. Let somebody else buy it for you.
Parker Kelly, good morning. I hope all is well. I hope you slept more than 3 hours, which is about what I got. But regardless, we're here.
I did sleep more than 3 hours, 4. So, hey, we're doing all right. I appreciate you guys working with me. I had a major plumbing incident last night in my apartment, so I really appreciate you letting me go over Zoom today.
Hey, I mean, you got to go when you got to go. So,
yeah. I got some jokes I'm holding back right now.
I mean,
well, go ahead. This is a family-friendly show.
Looks like you're doing some double duty today. It's a real crappy situation.
That's right. That's a very crappy situation. But hey, we're working through it. We're working through it. Happens to the best of us.
Regardless, we got a big show for you today. For the first time of this program, and probably the last time, because it's the only week we can probably do it. It's going to be all college football today, ladies and gentlemen. We got some big games today. Locally, Vanderbilt is taking on Charleston Southern. That game will kick off tonight at around 4:30, I believe, is when the pregame begins. I mentioned Texas-Ohio State. That is probably the game of the day. The first time in a long, long time that number one in the poll has been an underdog on the road. So that'll be one to keep an eye on. The Battle of Death Valley, LSU and Clemson, Brian Kelly and company, once again schedule a tough week 1 opponent. I believe they have not won in week 1 since 2019, and that is the Joe Burrow team with Joe Burrow, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, that whole bunch that won a national championship. They have not won a week 1 matchup since that team. So it'll be interesting to see if they can continue that horrible streak, or maybe they bounce off this week.
Rewrite history.
It's the Battle of Death Valley. Who's the real Death Valley? And it's LSU. We all know it. LSU is the real Death Valley. But I think Clemson might be the better team. We'll break that one down later on. Everyone's team's playing today. Locally, Tennessee in Atlanta against Syracuse. MTSU in action today. They are over in Floyd Stadium for the first ever whiteout. That should be very exciting.
Taking on Austin Peay.
Taking on the Govs. You know who the Govs' opponent next week is?
I don't know.
Georgia.
Oh, boy.
Georgia.
Oh, boy.
So if
you're in Middle Tennessee, they're at Wisconsin at some point.
They
Aren't
are
they coming
next
up soon?
Yes, next week. They're headed to
How about that?
They're headed to Camp Redall to jump around, jump up and get down.
And I will say, Wisconsin, a little shaky.
Yeah, they didn't look too good.
A little shaky.
They did not look good. I believe it was Thursday they played. I was watching that one kind of as my scouting report. I want to see how these guys stack up against MTSU. I wasn't impressed. Maybe lower tier Big Ten team, which is sad because that's such a nice program. And fun traditions and what have you.
Yeah, there were a lot of teams Thursday night that struggled. Obviously, you could say Nebraska, but also look at Rutgers. Rutgers has been up and down with Greg Schiano there at the helm. I think they were 7-6 last year. They slowly are increasing one win every single year, but they struggled week one.
Known Vol hire, Greg Schiano.
Vols fans, my goodness.
We'll go down in history. Schiano Sunday. We'll remember it forever.
Were you riding outside of the University Center, Parker Kelly?
I was not, but I believe our good friend Christian Skelton was. So we
Yeah.
did have a representative out there.
I'm
But
sure.
So I'm glad Frazier brought up this Rutgers game because they were up, what was that, 31-17 at the half?
Yeah, they were
And
up
then
by
they
14, yep.
Right, and then let Ohio score 14 straight in that third quarter. Rutgers only had 3 in the second half. I mean, yeah, it was quite the performance in the second half, I must say, from Greg Schiano's squad.
Yeah.
Well, I will give Ohio their props. That's a team. That's a MAC team that can kind of put some fear of God into you when it comes to college football.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, they won the MAC last year.
Right? They did.
Yeah,
Maction. I'm ready for Maction to come back. Those Tuesday nights at like 6:30, where you got nothing else to watch. That and Conference USA on CBS Sportsnet. Gonna see a lot of MTSU on that.
Chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss. I mean, if you are a college football sicko like we are, I would think, and like a lot of people around this state, you're watching on CBS Sportsnet. You're going to be watching Sam Houston State and Kennesaw State on a Tuesday night at 6:30.
UNLV 2-0. They played last night on CBS.
I heard that is your sleeper team.
That is my sleeper team. I think week
Nick
one,
Frazier's fighting Rebels right there.
Yeah, I'm all on the Dan Mullen train. I just there's something about Dan Mullen. By the way, I don't know if y'all saw the linebackers coach is Vontaze Burfict.
It is. I did see that.
So there's a lot of chaos on that defensive side of the ball for UNLV.
You've reminded me of something because I'm interested to hear your take on this team. They played Friday, and that's Boise State. They were upset by you. Upset is sure, but
yeah,
a ranked number 25 Boise State beat on the road by USF and Alex Golish and company. Do you think Boise State might be this year's Florida State? You have a successful year last year. You lose a lot of talent, namely Ashton Genty goes to the NFL. That team on Friday night just looked absolutely incompetent of playing a football game.
Yeah, I mean, Boise State, don't get me wrong. Yeah, they probably are the Florida State of this year.
Maybe not to that level of going 2-10.
A certain degree, though. I mean, they're really trying to fix the kinks, with the departure of Ashton Genty. I remember watching the game. They went with a 2 running back set, a freshman and I believe a junior. So you're going to have your junior take majority of the carries. And it was almost like not a smash and dash, but more of I'm going to do a jet sweep here and then do an RPO here and maybe do a midline run. That's simply what that was with Boise State.
Very RPO-centric offense.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate.
And Connor, you're gonna want to write this one down. This is your Parker Kelly stat of the day right here. Okay. So Boise State had 20 rushes for 63 yards in that first half, I believe.
Okay.
Or on their first 20 rushes, 63 yards against a defense that gave up 158 rushing yards per game last year. If that doesn't show you how much they miss Ashton Genty, I don't know what does.
I mean, to say Ashton Genty was the focal point of that offense would be quite the understatement. He was that offense.
Yeah.
I've started to convince myself it wasn't Boise State that made the college football playoff last year. It was Ashton Genty. Ashton Genty carried that team quite literally on his back to a college football playoff appearance and a top 4 seed, which is a system of the past. A very flawed system of the past, and we're glad it's gone. But regardless, Boise State, rough showing on Friday night against USF. Now, Alex Golish, on the other hand, that is a name, and I think, Parker, you would agree with me on this. That's a name I would watch this upcoming offseason in the mix for a Power 4 job. He has the mind and the offensive intensity to lock up one of those Power 4 jobs. Future Wildcat head coaching candidate, I shall say.
He will be in the Power 4 very soon. Him and John Sumrall from Tulane. But South Florida, man, they're a dark horse for the playoff in terms of representing the group of 5. I think
I'd agree.
Them, Tulane, UNLV, Nick Frazier's fighting Rebels. Certainly, all 3 of them will be in contention, I believe, at the end of the year. But South Florida's offense looked incredible, especially in that second half. And they have some sneaky good receivers as well. Chaz Nimrod, former Vol, Keyshawn Singleton. So they're going to be a fun team to watch, that's for sure.
Their quarterback was fun to watch the other night, too. I was remarkably impressed by what he did. We got a big show today for you. Massive games today. Arch Manning makes his first official start as the official starter. He started some games last year, but he was technically the backup. He has taken the reins of the Texas Longhorns program. He makes his official debut in the Horseshoe today in Columbus, Ohio, as number 1 Texas takes on number 3 Ohio State. LSU heads on the road to Death Valley number 2 in Clemson, South Carolina to take on the Tigers. It's a Tiger battle as well. I just now put 2 and 2 together. Of course, you got your local games. Vanderbilt taking on Charleston Southern. I have some thoughts on that one. I think they need to come out and just put on an absolute show. But we'll get into that more. And Tennessee, of course, playing Syracuse in Atlanta today. We will break all of those games down today throughout the show. When we come back, though, I want to get into the big matchup of the day, and that is Texas, Ohio State, which will come on the air right after we get off. We will get you out in time, just in time to watch that game, because you are not going to want to miss that one. That is a game with a lot of fireworks. That's up next here on Weekend Huddle. Connor Newt, Nick Frazier, Parker Kelly here with you on 102.5 The Game. Weekend Huddle broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Let me also tell you that Vanderbilt begins the season this Saturday. That's today at home against Charleston Southern. That game is sold out, by the way. So that's going to be an electric environment over at First Bank Stadium. Catch all the action on 102.5 The Game with the pregame show starting at 4:30 and kickoff at 6. Coverage is also available on the Game Nashville app and at thegamenashville.com. Vanderbilt football is presented by Gary Force Acura and Smoky Mountain Tops. Welcome back in, of course, Weekend Huddle here with you from 9 to 11. You can get in on the conversation. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. You can text or call us. Our phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. So, gentlemen, of course, it's the first day of college football. If you're watching the stream, you can probably see College Game Day behind me, Lee Corso's farewell tour.
Yeah, nice tux, by the way.
I know, he's dressed to the nines. He looks phenomenal.
They said that the tux was his idea too. So
Generational thing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
He is dressed to the nines.
Good for Corso.
They are live from Columbus, Ohio for the big game of the day, which is Texas-Ohio State. So I'm very intrigued by this game. Not only because it's two top 3 teams in the nation, but you have 2 quarterbacks that I think are unproven in their own respective ways. Arch Manning, you've seen a little bit of. You saw him play some meaningful snaps last year during SEC play when Quinn Ewers was down with injury. But he is getting a lot of praise as the second coming. Julian Sayin on the other side is a freshman quarterback coming off the heels of a good quarterback play they had last year with Will Howard. He has a lot of unproven things I need to see from him. What are our thoughts here on the quarterback matchup between Texas and Ohio State today?
I'd have to give the upper edge to Arch, primarily because he's got a few guys returning. Obviously, doesn't have Gunnar Helm, Isaiah Bond, so forth. But that offense to him is all familiar. I mean, obviously, it's going to be his first, I guess, welcome to college football moment as a starting quarterback. But as for Ohio State with Julian Sayin, to me, I have to see more. He has to prove stuff to me. We get Jeremiah Smith is on the offensive side of the ball, generational talent. That's great. But when you lose guys like Will Howard as their starting quarterback, it honestly matters of how much has Will Howard, I guess, manicured and helped him develop as a quarterback, as a freshman quarterback going into this season.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's solely it. It's almost like a Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love situation.
Yeah.
Did you help the guy mature going into next season? And that's what I have to see from Sayin today.
That's what Ryan Day talked about in the pregame here on College Game Day. While Will Howard was in, he was making sure that Julian Sayin and Lincoln Kindholz, who was the guy Sayin beat out, were taking Big Joe's favorite words, right? Mental
reps.
That's right. He was making sure that Julian Sayin was understanding why Will Howard was doing what he was doing. And that's such an intriguing part about this matchup is there's a lot of unknowns. Frazier and I were actually talking about this yesterday, but I mean, out of Arch Manning and Julian Sayin, not a lot of experience between the two, but Arch Manning does have the 2 starts under his belt. Meanwhile, Julian Sayin was only in garbage time. So lots of unknowns, but hey, get 1 versus 3 matchup of the national semifinal last year should be a lot of fun.
I think the receiving core for both teams is kind of what sets them apart. You could argue that Ohio State has the most elite receiving core in all of the nation with, of course, Jeremiah Smith, who's probably the most electric player in all of college football, in my opinion. But Carnell Tate is a solid young receiver that they have in their wings. I think those guys are going to help Julian Sayin out a lot. Julian Sayin doesn't have to come in and be the most elite quarterback of all time. I say this all the time for a lot of quarterbacks, but I think it's true in this case. All Julian Sayin needs to be is a game manager. He needs to be the Kirk Cousins kind of player. And people forget Julian Sayin was almost as highly recruited, if not the same as Arch Manning, as they came out of the same class. So I think that's something you need to pay attention to is Julian Sayin's not a bad quarterback. He is an elite 5-star quarterback talent. He originally committed to Alabama. Nick Saban retires, and then he transfers over to Ohio State to play for Ryan Day and company. But I think you need to look forward to the tools Julian Sayin can provide. And I think that offense and those receivers are really going to help him towards success. That's what I'm curious to see today. If he gets in a situation where he's under pressure, is he just throwing it down to Jeremiah Smith up for a prayer and hoping he comes down with it, which the odds are in Jeremiah Smith's favor of doing so. That's kind of what I'm paying attention to today if I'm Ohio State.
Yeah, and you also have to look at the running back room. You don't have Travion Henderson anymore. I was talking about a lot of departures. You look at Ohio State, it's a 2 running back group. I mean, I believe James Peoples will be the guy to get the start at running back, but you also have the senior as well at C.J. Donaldson. So those 2 are your top 2 options. And to your point about saying you have to rely on certain guys, I don't know who you can rely on. That's why I'm saying you got to prove things.
Yeah.
And I think
on paper you have Jeremiah Smith and you have Carnell Tate and guys like that, but we don't know what the connection looks like, right?
Right.
We haven't seen it on an on-field product yet. We think we know because we think it's going to be similar to what Will Howard and Jeremiah Smith had, especially in that playoff. But this is week 1 of the college football season. We know a lot less than what we think we know. So I think that's kind of what we're looking forward to today is how does this offense look? And even on the other side for Texas, Arch Manning, he got some meaningful snaps last year, but this is his first year as a true starter. It's kind of interesting to see how he connects with his new receivers. They got a young receiving core as well with Isaiah Bond and Matthew Golden leaving for the NFL. They've got some new receivers as well. So I think it's interesting to see how both quarterbacks gel with each offense.
And you got to remember, too, Ohio State and Texas, yes, there is a lot of unknown, but they don't have the same problems that a lot of other teams have when they have to replace a lot of this production because Ohio State and Texas have been recruiting at a top level nationally the past 3, 4, 5 years. So they are backfilling with a bunch of 4 and 5 stars. And honestly, Julian Sayin, he's a former Elite 11 MVP, former 5-star. If Saban's recruiting you, you must be doing something right. And honestly, isn't he living every quarterback's dream, having an alien on the outside of Jeremiah Smith to throw to? And then you got guys like Carnell Tate as well.
Mm-hmm.
The message from Ryan Day to him has been, you don't have to go out and be Superman. You don't have to go out and put the cape on. Just win. And that's really the motto at Ohio State.
Yeah, and that's a conversation you and I had yesterday, Parker, in terms of high school, but I think the same can be said for college quarterbacks is you are a student athlete. I get the term student athlete is kind of dying. You're a professional employee now. But you got to remember, these are 18, 19-year-old kids that are playing a quarterback position. You don't need to be the hero, especially on a loaded roster like Texas and Ohio State have, which if you were to ask me, I think those are probably the 2 most talented rosters in the entire country. There's no need for you to play hero ball. Just be confident, have fun. I know that sounds like a youth pastor, but have fun with it. Just be confident. Be out there. Be a game manager.
Youth Pastor Newt right there.
I mean, this is Catholic Connor Newt taking over right now. By the way, rough night for the Catholic schools of Nashville last night.
I don't want to say I'm embarrassed.
Slightly off topic, but
I don't want to say I'm embarrassed, but getting beat by Riverdale 35-0, we're gonna have to do some changes
between the 2 Catholic schools of Nashville. Not a single point was scored.
It's bad.
Pope was shut out 27-0 by East Robertson.
I remember my senior year, we played Riverdale in a preseason scrimmage game, and we beat them like 42-0. So like to lose.
Was that pre-Kreisky though?
Yeah, I believe.
That's going to be a fun one next. Have you seen that? Riverdale and Blackman.
Really?
A family affair. Wow. Matt versus Will. It's going to be
the Brothers Bowl.
Yeah, the Brother Bowl.
I bet Thanksgiving's going to be great at their house.
I wonder if they're going to get on at the 50 and just talk their political views before the game.
I think that's what everybody does, right?
Yeah, if I was a coach, that's what I would do. I would say, hey, you're wrong. Here's how I'm right.
So what I'm hearing is Frazier needs to be on the sideline for Father Ryan, and maybe that'll bring a little good luck. That's what I'm hearing.
I don't know about that one, Parker. I don't know. I don't want to take on a job I can't really contribute to.
Or we could just have the game of the week there.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Do you think you could talk the suit into?
Well, it's not a public school metro.
Oh,
team.
yeah, it's not. Yeah. Never mind.
If they were going to do it, it would have been Overton versus Father Ryan week 1, but that's not going to happen. So, if we ever do a game over there, let's not.
Yeah.
Let's just not.
But as far as college football, massive day today.
Huge.
And I don't know about you, but I'm just feeling this excitement. It's like Christmas morning. Like as a kid during Christmas morning, I even get it a little bit now because I have little cousins and they're still, one of them's 3 and one of them's 1. They don't really understand
Hey, yeah.
but
You
they,
know.
they don't know the truth like I know the truth, and that's the fun part because we can play a little along with that.
Yeah.
That's how I feel today. It's Christmas morning. I don't know what I'm going to get under the tree. You think you know, but you don't, and you're going to have some presents and some tricks up the sleeve, whether that's your local team you're watching. If you're watching the stream, this is personalized, by the way. Fake, but personalized.
Stitched.
Stitched, hand stitched by some third world country Nike outlet. But, you think you know what you're getting in college football today.
You don't.
You don't. And it's not just today. There's a great game tomorrow as well. Notre Dame and Miami, a short but sweet rivalry.
Talk about Catholics. Catholics
Versus convicts. I'm team
Bringing
Catholics.
it back. Bringing it back. Let's go.
Hey, I mean, if we can't have Notre Dame USC, then we can at least have Catholics versus convicts, right? Like, I think we need to send a petition to the NCAA on that one.
Connor, if they cancel USC and Notre Dame, I think we should be the first ones out there leading the riots. What do you say?
Oh, I think we need to be right outside of Southern California, right outside Lincoln Riley's office and just throwing eggs at his windows.
Because it sounds like Notre Dame is wants to keep the rivalry going. It's USC I'm a little worried about. So,
yeah, no, I leave it to Lincoln Riley to just ruin all the fun. Big game today, of course. Texas, Ohio State. That one will be on the air right after we get off the air. We will get you out just in time to catch that one. When we come back, I want to talk about the other big game of the day, and that is the Tiger Battle, the Battle of Death Valley. Number 9 LSU heads on the road to Clemson, South Carolina to take on the number 4 Clemson Tigers. We'll break that one down next as well here on the Weekend Huddle. Connor Newt, Nick Frazier, Parker Kelly here with you this morning on 102.5 The Game. Weekend Huddle brought to you by LPL Financial Nashville and Patrick Conger. Investment advice for you in the short term and for the future. Let me also tell all of you people that this isn't just a concert, it's a cause. Trinidad's Rock the Cradle helps give fragile newborns a stronger start and keeps moms close when it matters most. With Tim McGraw live on stage and your support behind every beat, Ascension St. Thomas is turning music into healing. Tickets are on sale now at rockthecradlenashville.organization. Welcome back in Weekend Huddle. Connor New, Nick Frazier, Parker Kelly here with you, breaking down the big matchups today across all of college football. We just discussed Texas, Ohio State. I think that's the one that comes to mind when you think of today's slate. The other one is the game tonight. LSU, number 9, Brian Kelly and the Bayou Bengals head down to Clemson, South Carolina, or I guess it's up for them because they're technically south of South Carolina. But the Bayou Bengals headed up to take on the Clemson Tigers, Cade Klubnik and company. This is another one I think you can look at and say these are two of the best and most hyped up quarterbacks in the entire nation. And that's Garrett Nussmeier for LSU and Cade Klubnik. LSU with a dynamic transfer portal season, but a lot of inexperience in that offense. Whereas Clemson, I think they are one of the best teams in the nation on paper, given their return numbers and their amount of elite blue chip recruits they've brought in. Dabo's recruiting process may be unconventional in this era of college football, but if he goes out and he has a great season and even wins a national championship, I think he just flips the absolute middle finger to all of us and says, see, you don't need the transfer portal. But on that note, what do we make of this one? I think this is going to be the game of the day, to be honest with you. I think this is probably on paper the two most tight on paper rosters throughout the slate today. I don't know. I just have a gut feeling that Brian Kelly is going to go in and do the same thing he does every year, and that's lose in week 1 to an opponent that's better than him.
Yeah, I agree. Clemson, to me, you just talked about Dabo and how the portal's not been his friend.
Mhm.
This year, he took a little dip into the portal pool, and I was surprised because he's the plain Jane type of coach, and for him to go into the portal, grab some huge assets, and be one of the most, I guess, veteran-esque teams out there in the ACC, win the ACC potentially, but for sure, I think we'll beat LSU today, primarily because LSU, they got Garrett Nussmeier, and that's about it.
I mean, they have a great receiving core. They get my guy, Barian Brown.
It's okay.
I kind of miss him. Former Pearl Cone player, by the way. So
really?
Shout out to him. They get a lot of speed. Speed is the name of the game for the LSU offense. I just don't know. It seems like every week 1, when they play a good opponent, that offense stalls out, and we don't see what LSU is capable of. Maybe that changes this year with Garrett Nussmeier with another year of experience under his belt and being profiled as one of the top picks in the upcoming NFL draft. But I have a hard time believing that LSU is going to come in and just roll in Death Valley.
And I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, LSU, no cupcakes for LSU early because they start off at Clemson and then they have Florida in week 3, and then like Clemson they start off obviously hosting a really good LSU team, and then they get Georgia Tech in week 3. So both of these teams got to come out of the gate swinging. Both teams have honestly kind of struggled in their last couple of week 1s, but it's two different philosophies because Clemson has not relied on the portal. They've been focused on high school recruiting. Meanwhile, LSU, they feel like they've backfilled through the transfer portal. Mm-hmm. So we're going to see which way wins out today. But LSU, I'd definitely say needs it a little bit more because Clemson, you look at that schedule, okay, they dropped this one to LSU. That's fine in this new era of the 12-team college football playoff, which I hate saying because I don't like seeing teams being okay with losing in the regular season. But they have Georgia Tech, and then outside of that, they could win the rest of their games. But LSU, you lose this one to Clemson, look who you have down the road. Mm-hmm. So I'd say LSU absolutely needs this one more today than Clemson.
Yeah, I was going to add before. Sorry, Parker, didn't mean to cut you off earlier, but
all good.
Michael Van Buren, just remember the name. He's been a lot of places. Recently was at Mississippi State, but just remember the name because if Nussmeier starts to struggle, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you see Brian Kelly say, "All right, kid, you're in." Because
really?
Yeah, because his job's on the line, man.
See, that's true, but I think they've committed to Garrett Nussmeier. They gave him number 18, which is kind of like number 7 for LSU. It is given to one of, if not the most impactful leaders on the team. So they've committed to that. I think this is going to be a Carson Beck situation where no matter how bad he is and how out of touch he looks with the offense, I think they're going to continue to just give him the benefit of the doubt and throw him out there and see how he performs under pressure. But on the LSU front, Parker, you're right. I think this one is must win for them because honestly, if they don't win this one, I think that hurts their playoff chances immensely. You can look at the conference that Clemson is in, and that's the ACC, and say this is Clemson's conference to lose. I think they are 1 to 2 tiers above every other team in the ACC. Like you have your dark horses, like Miami, I think would be your second best team, but you have some teams that you could see as fringe top 25, like your Louisville and your Pitt and your SMU. But I think you look at the ACC and you think this is Clemson's conference to lose. As far as LSU, you look at the SEC and you think LSU may not even be a top 5 team in that conference. So if they want to get into that conversation and be at the forefront of the playoff talks early on in the season, they absolutely have to win this game.
Because if you lose Clemson week 1, they have Florida, they're at Ole Miss, have South Carolina, at Vandy, at Alabama, and then they end their season at Oklahoma. If you go down 0-1, you can maybe afford to lose one more, at the most 2, but you don't want to put yourself in that situation. LSU hasn't won a week 1 game since Joe Burrow. So and think about how toxic the conversation would be around Brian Kelly if they were to lose another week 1 game. He, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's a Brian Kelly thing. This happened a little bit with Ed Orgeron as well, but they are allergic to winning week 1 games. I cannot imagine the conversation around Baton Rouge, the conversation nationally, if they were to lose week 1 again.
Craig on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com says, I'm a Notre Dame fan, but people at Michigan and the Big Ten acting like everyone wasn't. Well, that's unrelated. There was one he said earlier. There it is. Craig on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com says, I'm a diehard Notre Dame fan, and Brian Kelly being an absolute ass and always blaming someone else because he was allergic to winning a big game got real old real quick. And I think that's kind of the name of the game everywhere he's been. Yep. At Cincinnati, that was the case. At Notre Dame, it was the case. And now at LSU, that was the case. You remember last year, and if you watch the SEC doc, they showed it again. We're sitting here talking about the same things, and then slams the table and throws the water bottle.
Yep.
If he goes out and loses this week, I'm curious to see what he does this time. Like, is he just going to rip off his shirt and throw it at someone or something? I don't know, but it's always
something with him.
I think he suffers from John Calipari syndrome.
Bingo.
And that is, if you're unfamiliar with John Calipari, it's always my player's fault and not mine.
Yeah.
My players aren't machines. They're not going to go out and execute the way they want to. And I know that's Parker Kelly's favorite saying of all time. These guys aren't machines. But Brian Kelly suffers from the John Calipari syndrome of it's not my fault. Maybe to a more extreme degree because he is at that traditional program. He is at that program that expects to go in and win a national championship every year. And, of course, John Calipari was at Kentucky in basketball, and that's the same way. I can tell you that firsthand. But LSU is one of those programs that you look at and you think they are one of the founding fathers of college football. Yeah. They are one of the teams that should be in the national conversation every single year. Since Brian Kelly has been at LSU, they haven't necessarily been at that. The only national talking point they've really had is him for being an idiot. And they had a Heisman winner in Jaden Daniels. Just because you have a Heisman winner does not mean you're in contention for a college football playoff spot. They haven't made it since he's been there. And I realize we've had expansion that's gone underway, but Jaden Daniels won the Heisman at a 9-3 season. That's not good enough to get you in the playoff today.
No. And thank you for bringing up the whole Heisman talk, because I look at his scenario at Notre Dame. Yes, he had a lot of winning seasons, and yes, they're not in a conference. I think because they were not in a conference, it gave Brian Kelly more of a upper edge with keeping his job when it came to job security. Because if he always went, let's say 10-1 or 11-1 every single year, he was into the playoff regardless.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing else to compete with. You go to LSU, like you talked about, a winning pedigree. He's using that Jaden Daniels Heisman year as a crutch to keep his job security safe, which you can't do. And I told this to my best friend Trey when Brian Kelly made the transition from.
I mean, I'm not your best friend.
Oh, I mean, you all are my best friends. I mean, childhood best friend here. Hang on.
Yeah, there you go.
Big LSU guy.
For one and Perth.
But born and raised in Louisiana. And I remember telling him, like, well, you're getting Notre Dame 2.0.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what LSU's turned into is Notre Dame 2.0. Mediocrity.
It's Notre Dame in a conference.
Yeah.
And I think I go back to my point where you say you could make an argument and you look at LSU this year and say they may not be a top 5 team in the Southeastern Conference. I think you can look at Georgia and Alabama and Texas. Maybe South Carolina has the edge over them. Maybe Florida may have the edge over them. I think there are teams that you could make the argument for against LSU and say, yeah, I think that team has a better outlook on the SEC than LSU has. But if LSU rolls into Death Valley 2.0 today and gets the win, I think they would put themselves at the forefront of that conversation. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. You can text or call us. And as Gunnar says on our text line, it's a beautiful Saturday in the Bluegrass State. He also says the skies are blue and Kentucky fans will be too after the real Big Orange knocks, and that's spelled Knox, the Vols out early.
I was going to say run wild on you, but because it would have been
Brother.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah.
What's up with all these Kentucky texters and callers? We had a lot of these last week.
I'm a draw, Parker. I am a draw.
It must be. It must be.
I am a draw.
You're a cat magnet.
Yes,
cat
I am.
Magnet, Connor.
I'm a draw. They love me because I maybe don't use that phrase again. That's probably not the best way of putting it. When we come back,
family radio.
Yes,
family radio.
This is a PG show. When we come back, it is the return of a beloved segment on this brand new show. 9:45. I'm taking over, boys. What? Newt's Notes coming up next here on Weekend Huddle. Connor Newt, Nick Frazier, Parker Kelly here with you on 102.5 The Game. New show, new intro, and I think it's fitting for the Connor Newt farewell tour on the campus of Middle Tennessee State University. Welcome back, Weekend Huddle. Connor Newt, Nick Frazier, Parker Kelly here with you. Let's do a little Newt's Note, shall we?
Please.
Return of the King. I have a bone to pick with a certain person in college football. I want to talk about Dylan Raiola and Nebraska. Obviously, they played on Friday in Arrowhead Stadium, and it was just no shortage of Chiefs references and Mahomes references. And, Raiola's whole shtick is, oh, he looks like Mahomes, and he does everything Mahomes does. I'm here to tell you it's getting weird, and quite frankly, it's getting really, really annoying. Like, they showed one angle at one point of Raiola running out of the tunnel and doing the Mahomes jump, and then they pan over to Patrick Mahomes, and he quite literally does the Jim Halpert deadpan stare into the camera. Like, he looks so disappointed. It's getting weird, and it's like every little thing. Like, Raiola does the little finger thing that Mahomes does, and he wears the same number and the same gear with the arm sleeve and the headband.
Same haircut.
And they ask him about it. Like, why do you want to embody Patrick Mahomes so much? Why don't you just want to be you? And he's like, I can't help that God made me like Patrick Mahomes. And I'm like, Dylan, you made yourself like Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, or God didn't make you choose number 15 and wear a headband and sign an Adidas sponsorship just because Patrick Mahomes did. And that's the whole reason I think they played at Arrowhead Stadium, so they could keep doing those whole, oh, he looks just like him and he plays just like him. And that's why Mahomes and Brittany Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift were at that game. So he's the next coming. He's going to be a Chiefs great. And then I think the embodiment of this whole game was all four of them left early in a great game, by the way.
With 7.5 to go, by the way.
With 7.5, they all left. They all got sick of it. So I think I stand with them. I'm sick of this. I'm tired of seeing the comparisons between Dylan Raiola and Patrick Mahomes simply because Raiola is copying him. It's very annoying. It's very cringy. It needs to stop.
So you'd rather have Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce over Dylan Raiola?
Yeah.
Wow.
At least they move. At least they move the needle in pop culture.
That's fair.
Like, I think you could go up north and ask someone in New York, what do you know about Dylan Raiola? And they won't be able to tell you anything.
Like, is that a new color on the Crayola marker? That's what they'll say.
By the way, you know what I learned? Speaking of color wheels, this is very unrelated. Kentucky's color of blue is on the color wheel as its own thing, and it's labeled Wildcat Blue.
Interesting.
Where'd you see this?
This is, I learned this from the grapevine and my sources over in Lexington.
Okay, how about it?
So the cat magnet, once again, draws some money.
I think we've put that phrase in retirement for right now. I'm just focused on not getting this show canceled. All right, Connor. That's my one goal. Okay.
But do you guys agree with me in that this Dylan Raiola thing is just an absolute clown show? Like, I'm tired of seeing it, and I think Dylan Raiola is a good quarterback. I think he is a good talent. He's a 5-star quarterback. He was originally committed to Georgia and then flipped over to Nebraska once Carson Beck got the starting nod. But I think he has a good future. He could be an NFL level quarterback, but I don't want another Patrick Mahomes. We already have Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is a staple in sports culture and pop culture, and he's one of the best to do it right now. I don't need to see two of them. Just be Dylan Raiola. Don't be Patrick Mahomes.
Well, to Raiola's credit and to his benefit, that is, keep milking this doppelganging, Patrick Mahomes lookalike, because that only increases his draft stock. I mean, obviously, Patrick Mahomes' name is, connotated with him, and I get all that. But if you're still undefeated at Nebraska, 3-0, 4-0, and that narrative keeps building and building and building, people are going to say, maybe he is somewhat of a Mahomes Jr. Maybe he's somewhat, when you resemble somebody's game, you pick up certain tendencies that one player does. Maybe that is a good thing for him. I mean, I'm with you. I'm so sick and tired of this Mahomes Jr. stuff. It's ridiculous. And I agree. I think that's why they played at Arrowhead, was solely because of the Mahomes narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just sickening, because be yourself. Like, we're all told everybody's different. Be yourself. We put on the same pants every day. I get it. But everybody has different personalities.
Look, I idolize Chase McCabe. That's one of my idols because he's been such a role model to me and given me some great advice.
Right.
Do I want to come on these airwaves and say exactly what Chase McCabe says and exactly have his exact mannerisms? No. Granted, I think I'm a little more athletic than Chase is, but that's what diversity and variation in what we do on the air is what makes all of us individually great. Like, I'm different than you. You're different than me. Parker, you're different than Frazier. You're different than me. We're all different here. And we all have our different attributes and expertise. That's what I think makes us so great together is we all combine that together. I don't need to have another, we don't need to be a carbon copy of Robbie and Rex Road, right? We don't need to be a carbon copy of DVD because they have their own thing and it works for them. Dylan Raiola, I think, is a product of that, and he's trying to replicate success of probably the best quarterback in the NFL just so he can draw some money and people can talk about him. And I think it's weird and I think it's cringy, and I think we need to stop giving it attention. I realize that's not a realistic possibility, but go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. Hey, it's a little difficult. Like, I'm trying not to interrupt on Zoom. It's just the dynamic is a
No,
little
you're
off,
fine.
but we'll be all back together on Monday, and it'll be fantastic. We'll be on Labor Day, 9 to 11:30. So I was so indifferent on this Dylan Raiola Patrick Mahomes comparison until they showed the graphic on TV, and the stance was the same, the celebration, the arm sleeves, the hair, the number, the way they even run is the same thing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. Now it is over the top. Dylan Raiola is a great talent. And yes, like there are some things that he does with his play that is very similar to Patrick Mahomes, but my gosh, like dude, just carve your own legacy, man. That's kind of my thoughts on it. I'm with y'all.
Yeah, like I don't want to hear Dylan Raiola is Patrick Mahomes Jr. I want to hear Dylan Raiola is the first Dylan Raiola. That's some great advice. You guys were talking about great advice yesterday on your show, which I found very impactful. Some great advice that was given to me is don't be the next so-and-so, be the first Connor Newton. So I would give that advice to Dylan Raiola. Don't be the next Patrick Mahomes. Be the first Dylan Raiola. And I think drop the shtick because we know it's fake. We can see right through it. Patrick Mahomes can see right through it. They showed him on TV. He did not like it. He didn't stick around for the rest of your game because he was tired of seeing you trying to implement elements from his game. And I think that's fine. You can take inspiration from other players. Like, oh, do we get a kicking challenge update in week 1?
Yes.
There we go.
Right through the uprights.
All those mascots are celebrating too. Congratulations to that
$250,000.
Good for him. Congratulations to that guy. But back to my point, I don't need to see another Patrick Mahomes. I need to see the first Dylan Raiola. And I think that needs to start as soon as possible. And part of the problem is ESPN and all these corporate entities promoting it. Hey, tune into Nebraska football. You can see Patrick Mahomes on Saturday and on Sunday. And I'm like, I don't really care. But it's gotten really cringy and it's pretty annoying.
Yeah, it brings the clicks. That's what they want.
It brings the boom and the money. Have we
clickbait?
Have we retired Bring the Boom?
I think we should bring it back one last time.
Yeah, but I think their fame is kind of flaming out. Like,
yeah, that's
you don't see them anymore. I think they expanded their cast a little too much, and then we just don't know where they are.
They went for the whole family, and it dropped.
I don't really need to see what cousin Angelo has to say. I'm trying to see what AJ and Big Justice. Boo. Happy to have Newt's notes back. I had to get that off my chest. It's been boiling all week, but I'm glad it's back. We'll rotate every week. We'll do that. So
I love it.
Parker, you're up next week. We'll have Kelly's Corner next week. But when we come back, a new segment that we've had over the past few weeks that you guys have been great on. It's been phenomenal participation. Bold Take Row. We take your bold takes, sports, non-sports. We'll take whatever you got. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Our phone and text lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Get those in now. We will react and read those on the other side here on the Weekend Huddle. Connor Newt, Nick Frazier, and Parker Kelly here on 1025 The Game. Hour number 2 of Weekend Huddle here on 102.5 The Game. Connor Newton, Nick Frazier, Parker Kelly here with you. About to get into some bold takes, but first let me tell you that later today on ESPN 94.9 The Fan, the Nashville Sounds take on Charlotte at First Horizon Park with first pitch at 9:35 p.m. Coverage also available on the Game Nashville app and at thegamenashville.com. Sounds baseball on ESPN 94.9 The Fan, presented by Twin Peaks and Family Leisure. Also, this season, catch MTSU football on Totally Hits 93.3 with Chip Walters and Big Joe Dubin on the call. Today, the Blue Raiders will host Austin Peay. Kickoff is at 6. Coverage is also available on the Totally Hits Nashville app and at the TotallyHitsNashville.com. That's a mouthful. That's a lot to read right there. We are broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Let's get into some of your bold takes. This is Bold Take Row. We welcome your takes, sports, non-sports, whatever you want to give us. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Our phone and text lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We'll start off with Devin and Dixon. He says, and maybe the greatest phrasing I've ever read on a text line, "Let me talk to you. You know who's going to bring the boom this year? The Alabama Crimson Tide will win the national championship. Yeah, roll Tide." I don't hate it. I have Alabama in my national championship. So
That's right. I remember we did it with Jake. Yeah.
I don't hate that.
So you're that high on Simpson at quarterback?
I'm high on Kalen DeBoer. I'm high on that roster because I think Kalen DeBoer always thrives when he has his guy at quarterback. I don't necessarily think Jalen Milroe was a Kalen DeBoer guy. Granted, DeBoer didn't recruit Ty Simpson, but Ty Simpson is obviously his guy. If it wasn't, he would have hit the portal and grabbed someone else. I think Simpson has kind of the traits that you're used to seeing in a Kalen DeBoer guy. Not the fastest guy and can't really get outside the pocket, but has elite footwork and pocket presence inside and has just a cannon of an arm. I think of Michael Penix. That's kind of what I model the Kalen DeBoer quarterback frame as. I think Alabama coming into the season has a lot of receipts they want to hand out. Vanderbilt comes to mind. They want Tennessee. They want Georgia again. There's a lot of receipts needed to be delved out by Alabama, and I think they have the roster talent and the mentality to do it. Ryan Williams, their young wide receiver, who's no longer 17, by the way. We can't use that as a stat every week.
They're going to tell us that he's 18 instead.
Yes.
Yeah, they really will.
Yeah. He's only 18.
Anyways, Ryan Williams, the young receiver, I think is going to take a massive step this year. Maybe not to the level of elite wide receiver of Jeremiah Smith, but I'd put him at number 2. He's going to be phenomenal. Devin, I don't think you're far off, my friend. I think there is a slight chance. Obviously, you got to take all of this with a grain of salt. We're in week 1 of college football. You never know what's going to happen. But on paper right now, I would tend to agree with you. Alabama has the potential to win a national championship.
Okay. I can't disagree. I'm still on the outside of that, but they could make a run. I just said they could make a run.
What is your bold take, Frazier?
Oh boy. Hold on to your britches, folks.
Hold on loosely. Don't let go.
You could say that.
Yeah.
Mississippi State is going bowling this year.
Whoa!
They're only projected 3 wins on the season. I'm stating my case right now. The Bulldogs will be bowling. And I don't want to go out on a limb saying maybe the Music City Bowl, but they'll for sure have 6 wins under my belt.
6 wins.
Yep.
Do you know? Would you tell us what those 6 wins are?
They win today against Southern Miss.
Okay.
Lose to Arizona State. Beat Alcorn State. They'll have a tough game against Northern Illinois. They gave Notre Dame the run for their money last year.
Mm-hmm.
So that they're 3 out of conference games they win, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're 3 conference games they do have to win. Big upset, Florida, at Florida. They beat Arkansas on the road as well, and they beat Missouri on the road as well. So
those are all winnable.
All winnable games. If they can win those 3 conference games, I mean, if they could sneak a win against Tennessee, that'd be great because it's in Starkville, and we all know, Tennessee fans here would love that between Wallman and Parker.
The 2 stooges we have on the air. Yeah,
I just think the quarterback situation for the Vols is going to be a little bit of an issue this year. I think it's going to be a 2 quarterback tandem.
Yeah, and I do want to get into that here shortly, but
perfect. But that's my bold take.
Man.
I say Mississippi State gets 6 wins and they go bowling.
I mean, you just threw me off. I thought you were going to come in with, Jeff Lebby may win 4 games this year, but
take a step higher.
Man, The Bulldogs are going bowling.
They are. Ring that cowbell.
Ring
baby.
that cowbell.
I have heard, I think I read it on X the other day, that there's people around that program that have really liked what Jeff Lebby's done in terms of making the roster what he wants it to be and, working the transfer portal over the offseason. I think he threw like $35 million towards NIL.
Yeah, I will say Jeff Lebby, and I've talked to this with Chase and Joe about it. He was thrown into a situation that it's hard to really recover from initially. Obviously, the passing of Mike Leach, and you have Zach Arnett that takes over, and then it's a coaching carousel from that point on. You bring in a guy like Jeff Lebby, who was at Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin, with a productive, high-octane offense, a really good mastermind of the offensive game. Then he goes to Oklahoma, and that bodes decently well for him in that atmosphere. Then comes to Starkville, Mississippi, in a program that is bottom of the barrel again. Whatever Dan Mullen built was crushed down by the great walls of the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you have to really build that back up. And I think what Jeff Lebby's trying to do and what Wallman's, stating the case of putting a lot more money into the NIL, because that's the name of the game. You have to start adding more money into those veteran players, those guys that were coming from junior college and so forth. So I think that's primarily what Jeff Lebby's trying to do. I know I've made my case on these airwaves saying Lebby needs to be gone. If he doesn't win 6 games this year, I think he might be gone.
Interesting.
So
that is maybe not to the level of LSU or a program like that, but that is a program that expects to be at least competitive every year.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't win 6 games, you got to beat Ole Miss.
And it seems like ever since the Mullen days, it's been kind of, Coach, why am I blanking on his name? I can't believe I'm doing this.
Dan Mullen?
No.
The
crazy pirate.
Oh,
Mike
Mike
Leach.
Leach.
Mike Leach.
Yeah.
Coach Leach had some good seasons, but none to the level of Dan Mullen, obviously.
Winning pedigree, that is.
Yeah.
As for a quarterback, statistically, Will Rogers, best quarterback in Mississippi State history, even over Dak Prescott. Statistically.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Holds the passing yards, touchdowns. Yep.
Interesting. So Nick Frazier has his Bulldogs going bowling. Parker Kelly, your bold take for the day, sir.
First of all, am I potted up?
Yes.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Beautiful. Okay, so going off of Frazier's point, I do believe in Jeff Lebby, but I think bowl eligibility this year, very out of the realm of possibility. But I do believe in Jeff Lebby and the future of Mississippi State. Okay, now that is out of the way, my bold take, and I'm not the only one that has said this, I'm out on watch party, guys. I'm out on watch parties. I have a story. So on Thursday,
Look at
I
you,
went over to a
Pakel.
buddy's.
I know what you're talking about.
I know, but I happen to agree with JD Pakel, and I've said this before, but I'm out on watch parties. So on Thursday, I went over to a friend's house. We had our fantasy football draft, and Nebraska-Cincinnati was on. I was sitting there. I was watching the game. I was doing my draft. I can multitask because I'm not one of those guys that takes forever to make his pick in fantasy football. I know who I want. I select my player, and I'm done, and I go right back to watching the game. But I'm sitting there Thursday, and I'm doing this draft. I'm watching Nebraska-Cincinnati. And I got guys to my left, guys to my right, talking to me about how work has gone, about how a lot of my friends are school teachers, talking to me about how school is going. I'm like, guys, I'm happy to hear about this. Maybe when the game is not being played, because I'm one of those guys that if there's a game on and I'm watching it, there could be a fire going on in the next room, and I will not even realize it. So I am so locked into the game that, yes, I'm glad school is going great. But Nebraska and Cincinnati are battling it out. It's the 4th quarter. I don't necessarily care about how school is going right now. Maybe talk to me another time about that. So that's my bold take. I'd love to get your thoughts on that.
School is going great for me. Thanks for asking. No, I 1000% agree with you. This is why I don't go to Super Bowl parties. I've been to a few in my lifetime, and I end up being the only one watching the game. My dad has a story where he was with a guy one time at a Super Bowl party, and this guy clearly knew nothing about football. So he said, "Wow, the Patriots have a lot of neat players this year, don't they?" And poor Rick just wanted to strangle that man right there.
Neat players.
Neat players. Real term that has been thrown out. I just, I agree with you, Parker. It is 1000% a thing for me as well. I do not do the watch parties, especially in a big game like today. You've got Texas and Ohio State. I'm going home right after this. I'm locked in. I'm parking my butt on that couch until I got to get up and come back to work. No one bother me by then.
Don't text, don't call. I won't see it. Simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, to Parker's bold take there about watch parties, I'm all about them. I love watch parties. I don't, working a lot, you don't get to see your friends as much as they are. I guess I'm older than you both by about 4 or 5 years, but nonetheless, once you get to the point of working a lot, you don't get to see your buddies. Those watch parties come in handy. I mean, don't get me wrong. You're still watching the games. I'm still dialed in. But when he talked about fantasy football, I can't do both of those. I got to be doing fantasy football, and then
I don't do second screen when a game's on.
Wow.
Do you do
If it's a
multiple
big game like
screens?
today,
Do you do multiple screens
No.
for games? So you're just one
Oh, no.
game, one screen?
No. Yeah. Like if there's two games going on at the same time that I want to watch, then absolutely. But
Okay.
I'm not, like some of these other weirdos that is, scrolling through TikTok while a game is on. If there's a game on,
that's insane.
yeah, that's criminal activity. If there's a game going on, I'm locked in, man. Like there's no and ifs, buts, ors about it. You're locked in. Jake Wallman, real quick, let's get your bold take.
So I've thought about this pretty much all morning before you guys came in, and I'm going to go to Chapel Hill, North Carolina. I just got a weird feeling in me that I think North Carolina makes a bowl game this year.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know what it is, and I can't explain it, but I think there's something brewing in Chapel Hill or Chapel Bill, whichever you want to call it, that they make a bowl game this year.
Do you want to be any bolder and say they possibly make a playoff push?
No, I don't think it's a playoff. I don't think it's that deep. I think they go like 7-5, 8-4, and they make a bowl game.
I mean, think about it though. They only have one ranked game on their schedule, and it's Clemson. The rest of them, if they could take care of business the first 4 weeks, take on TCU Monday, beat Charlotte, take on Richmond, beat UCF, that's 4-0. If you're 4-0 going into Clemson, you got to have some momentum, right?
I don't think UCF looked all that great. I saw last night they had like a 17-play drive for 50 yards that ended in a punt. So
I don't know.
I mean, the 4-0 is not out of the realm of possibility, but I think they go 7-5.
I don't know. I just think they could go not undefeated, but lose to Clemson and just win out. Maybe ACC.
It's not
11-1.
Maybe.
It's not a deep enough.
I don't know.
It's not a deep enough conference to where they just are middle of the pack. I think the talent that they have and the level of, coaching expertise they have in Bill Belichick, maybe he's not the same Bill Belichick, but I could totally see them winning 9 to 10 games in some way. I could also see them winning 4 games, but it's a matter of perspective. And I think that you kind of just have to look at it and say, I think they have the potential to do this. So that's kind of where I stand on UNC.
He's definitely a different coach because he's now eating acai bowls. Did old Bill Belichick with the Patriots used to do that?
No.
What is that?
An acai bowl? You never had an acai bowl?
No. What is that?
It's like how would you explain this, Frazier? You're the foodie in the group.
It doesn't have chia seeds in it.
Yeah, it does. It has fruit, granola, but it's like a water base. It's not a milk base like yogurt or ice cream.
Yeah,
No.
I don't eat anything I can't pronounce.
I'm not water based. I'm out.
It's a white girl delight. That's all you need to know.
Okay.
Let me give you mine. Mine is food related. Of course, we're delving into the non-sports portion of this. If you give me the opportunity to choose between a cake and a pie, I am taking a pie 10 times out of 10. On a birthday, I would rather have a pie than a cake. On a special occasion, I would rather have a pie than a cake. When my mom asks me, what do you want me to make for your birthday? I'll tell her, make me a cherry pie with ice cream on it. Because cake is fine. It's traditional. But I like the fruit in the pie. I like the warmth of the ice cream melting over it. Pie is better than cake. Case and point. I don't think I need to explain anymore.
I think that's pretty pretty self-explanatory. My neighbor Don's a big pie guy. He has
Shout out Don.
Shout out. He's a big listener. Loves the show.
Shout out Don.
Thinks
Thank you,
do a
Don.
great job. So, yeah,
He thinks you do a great job too.
yeah, we all do.
I don't know
a great
Don,
job.
but I'm assuming that's how it is.
Don's a great guy. Great guy. No, you make a good point about the pie. I think a nice peach cobbler. I don't know if you call that a pie per se.
Cobbler and pie are in the same family tree, I think.
It has a fruit.
It's fair enough. Fair enough.
Still has a delicious. The ice cream pours over the top of it. You make a good.
Oh
point.
yeah.
I don't know,
I
but-
figured I'd tone it down this week so Parker wouldn't yell at me.
Cheesecake though.
Oh no, I'm still. That's actually. Some are saying that's why I'm over Zoom today, because I'm still recovering from that horrendous Boise State take you had last week.
Well, I think they have more than uniforms to worry about right now. So
Sure.
I
But
think-
man, the uniform. Woo.
I stand by it. I stand by it. The number on the one side and the logo on the other side, it looks awful. We'll continue to take your bold takes. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. You can text or call us and give us your bold takes throughout the rest of the show. When we come back, however, let's get into the local games going on in college football today. Vanderbilt taking on Charleston Southern in a sold-out First Bank Stadium. What do the Doors need to do to get momentum on their side? I have some thoughts on this. We'll do that coming up next. Connor Newt, Nick Frazier, Parker Kelly here on the Weekend Huddle on 102.5 The Game. Tune in for the Bruschetta Bourbon Music City Grand Prix race on 102.5 The Game tomorrow. Coverage begins at 1 p.m. and is brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Scott Borchetta was at my my school the other day.
Really?
The Bragg Media and Entertainment Building is now the Scott Borchetta Bragg Building of Media and Entertainment.
They have a ribbon cutting for this?
Yes. This was Tuesday. So
Oh.
congratulations to Scott Borchetta, and thank you for all your support. He's donated $15 million to the media program of MTSU. So thank you for the support and, you know, putting your faith in people like me and all the guys that are younger than me in that industry. You are truly changing lives. So
Indeed. I wonder why I didn't see that on the paper. That's interesting. It
Yeah,
might have been. I just probably didn't oversee it.
it just happened. So it is very recent, but
Look forward to tomorrow.
wanted to extend my thanks to Mr. Scott Borchetta, a legend of the music industry and of the racing industry. So I'm glad that we are now associated with that name. Welcome back to the Weekend Huddle. Connor Newt, Nick Frazier, Parker Kelly here with you today. We're still taking your bold takes. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Devin and Dixon has weighed back in. He says the multiple screams for games drives me nuts as well. Makes my AC/DC kick into overdrive, which I think means ADHD. But
AC/DC. Let's go.
he loves Buffalo Wild Wings, but all the TVs are painful. I'll tell you this, Devin, don't go to a Circa Sportsbook over at Kentucky Downs if you're not into that, because Parker and I were there last week. It is glorious, first of all. They got an 80-foot screen. You just watch football all day. But there's a lot of people and there's a lot of televisions. So if you're not into the multi-screen thing, I wouldn't advise that.
Yeah, bingo.
As I made the mistake of last week, it's not 80-inch, 80-foot.
Yeah,
It is a big, giant screen to watch football. But, man, yeah, that may give you a spasm with all the sports going on.
80 inch is no size to be ashamed of. That's the kind of inches you'll find in your bedroom. Let's go to our phone line and say hello to our friend Kenny, the mailman, who has a bold take for us. Kenny, good morning. Happy College Football Saturday. What you got for us?
A great morning to y'all. You know what? Even if you got to work, it's a great day.
Indeed.
Listen, has our friend Eric called in yet?
He has not. We have not heard from him.
He's probably mourning. He got some bad news last night. You know, he's a lifelong Cowboys fan. He actually called Joe Dubin
Prayers up.
yesterday and criticized the trade. At 11 o'clock last night, Jerry Jones traded him for 3 Arizona Cardinal fans.
And that's why the Arizona Cardinals have these new uniforms that look like tortillas.
I thought it was like a speckled bird. They're horrific.
They're
I don't
awful.
know. They're hypnotizing these owners to buy these terrible uniforms. I just don't understand that.
Agreed.
But you know what? Jerry Jones, he is a master at making money, and I do give him credit. He's one of just only 1 or 2 owners that actually paid for his own stadium. But he has created this myth that he built the Cowboys and won the Super Bowls. He had people that did that for him, and he's lived off that ever since. He is a master at money making, but just watch 5 minutes of the Netflix show, and you will see the ego that has been getting in the way of all these decisions for years and years. And frankly, I'm happy. Eric, it'll be okay. You got Kyler Murray to root for. See you later.
Thank you, Kenny. Thank you as always. Nick Frazier, you second that decision. Root for Kyler Murray.
Yes.
That's your guy.
Look, I told you guys going in the draft, big Drake May guy. Turned out pretty good.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray, another guy. Don't be too out on him just yet. He's just in a bad situation.
Only one that needs to hit on our best possible NFL player draft is Kenneth Walker, who was taken for some reason.
Yeah.
It wasn't by you.
No, it wasn't. I don't understand that one either. I mean, he's an injury-prone guy. I mean, Kyler Murray, I get he's short, okay? I get it, everybody. But he is a decent quarterback. Fantasy.
He's not bad, Frazier.
Look
He's
at
not
you.
bad.
You're taking up for all the short kings across the world.
Hey, we stick together. It's a good fraternity. We stick together.
We'll continue to take your bold takes throughout the show. Again, 615-737-1025 is our phone and text line. You can give us a text or a call. We will, answer and respond to you. I'm having some
It's great radio, Connor.
Thank you. I'm having some issues today with my indigestion, I guess you could say.
It's just you're all you're bubbly today because it's a
Yeah.
college football day. It's day one.
I am bubbly. I'm very bubbly. Let's transition to the local games going on today. There is a game just down the street over on West End, over at First Bank Stadium, that's sold out, which is very exciting for that program. I'm very happy that Vanderbilt is back in some sort of limelight. They take on Charleston Southern today. Kickoff at 6 p.m. Our pregame show right here on 102.5 The Game with Andrew Allegretta, Norm Jordan, and our good friend Jake Lyman will be at 4:30. You can tune in to hear coverage of that. There is something I think Vanderbilt needs to do today, and that's go out and win by freaking 90. We had Lyman and I yesterday on Next Man Up had Andrew Allegretta on, and I asked him, I was like, what do you need to see from Vanderbilt, and more specifically Diego Pavia today, to make you think Vanderbilt is still on the same page they were last year? And he was like, honestly, I don't think I need to see anything. I think they need to play it safe. And, Pavia can just be kind of a manager and facilitate, to which I disagree. I think if you want to generate revenue and excitement for your football program this year, go out there and win by 60 over Charleston Southern. I need to see Diego Pavia throwing for 400 yards and 6 touchdowns. I need to see Eli Stowers grabbing 3 touchdowns on the goal line. You need to throw everything you have. Don't feel bad. Don't be nice to Charleston Southern. There's no Southern hospitality in college football. I heard Joe talking about this yesterday, allowing your band of an opposing team to play on your field because it's Southern hospitality. Throw all of that out away today. Go out there, win by 90, and then we move forward. And guess what? You throw up points like that. I'm exaggerating, 90. But if you win big today and you look dominant, guess who's going to take note? All the other SEC teams on your schedule. Alabama, who's got you circled in red ink, is going to look at you and say, we see you. Tennessee, who's got you circled in big orange ink, is going to look at you and say, we see you. LSU, who comes here. All these teams that you have on your schedule that want to beat you are going to want to beat you even more because they saw what you just did. That's kind of where I stand on how Vanderbilt should play it today.
Yeah. And, when Vanderbilt played Texas and Alabama last year, those big top 5, top 10 games, they spread the ball out wide from sideline to sideline. They stretched things out. When you're going up against teams like Charleston Southern, you need to attack them head on. A lot of that RPO stuff, like you're talking about Eli Stowers, hit him over a vert route over the middle, up the middle, You just need to take them on directly. A lot of run game today for Vanderbilt, or this evening, a lot of run game for them because you don't want to show too much. Obviously, try to beat them by 40, 50, 60, whatever it may be, but don't show too much to where all these other teams in the SEC have too much film on you. Obviously, they have film on you from last year.
Yeah.
But you want to make sure you don't show up too much this year because they have 11 upperclassmen on this starting offensive side of the ball. All 11 are upperclassmen, juniors and up. 6 of them are graduates. So
wow.
You have a lot of returners.
It's an old team.
Yeah. And I think
a lot of experience.
A big statement for Clark Lee because this is setting up your I guess I would call it a college franchise in some regard. This sets up your dynasty. If you can get, I know it's a stretch.
New file.
I know
dynasty.
I know it's a stretch.
You got to get off that game, man.
Listen, I know it's a stretch of a term, but Clark Lee has something here, and if he can capitalize on this season, going 9 wins, he can help that transfer portal and recruiting class build, like actually build, where you have substance coming in as freshmen and sophomores. So I'm not. I probably shouldn't use the word dynasty, but some form of a seamless transition.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to try to bring us back down to earth here with what I have to say. I believe Andrew Allegretta, the phrase he used yesterday was he doesn't want to see any red flags. I think the excitement around Vanderbilt football is going to be there because this is a game that you should win. And as long as Diego Pavia is the quarterback at Vanderbilt, the buzz and the fact that it's sold out, that is all going to be there because he brings that with him. He is that lightning in a bottle for them, something that Vanderbilt has never had. Think about it, SEC Media Days. Arch Manning was the most talked about player for obvious reasons, but who was right below him? Diego Pavia.
Yep.
And I think from a completely non-biased perspective, this is great for Vanderbilt football. If you watch that SEC documentary on Netflix, the energy around the program, something that has never been felt here in Nashville before. And that's what Nashville needs. Nashville needs a college team like Vanderbilt to bring this buzz and honestly make that rivalry with Tennessee, make that in-state rivalry, take it to the next level.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. You can text or call us. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Tune into the 1025 The Game Nashville app, or theGameNashville.com for NASCAR coverage of the Cookout Southern 500 tomorrow at 5 p.m. Coverage presented by Michael Waltrip Signature Floor. Rev up your day on the Michael Waltrip Signature Floor, located on the 3rd floor of Hank Williams Jr. Boogie Bar. Wall-to-wall sports, cold drinks, and great food to fuel the fun. When we come back, we'll break down the other local team playing today. Tennessee and Syracuse playing in Atlanta today. What does Joey Aguilar, the quarterback for Tennessee, need to show today to show that Tennessee has some life of a competent offense? That's up next here on the Weekend Huddle. Connor Newt, Nick Frazier, and Parker Kelly with you here on 1025 The Game. Weekend Huddle here on 1025 The Game, brought to you by LPL Financial. Financial planning for tomorrow so that you can enjoy today. Welcome back in. Connor Newt, Nick Frazier, and Parker Kelly here with you, breaking down the local teams playing across the world of college football today. Vanderbilt I think we all agree needs to have a big showing today against Charleston Southern. No respect for them. Do not be nice. No Southern hospitality. The other team locally, Tennessee, playing Syracuse in Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. That's a bigger game than I think people realize, because that is two Power 4 programs, two programs that have a lot to prove. You want to see what Tennessee's offense looks like with Joey Aguilar at the helm. Fran Brown on the other side has returned a lot of returning talent, and that is a very conservative offense. You kind of want to see how that plays out against Tennessee's defense. But I pose the question to you guys. What does Joey Aguilar need to do coming into his first start as a Tennessee Volunteer to instill hope in this offense that this team really hasn't had since Hendon Hooker?
Well, Connor, one of the deepest positions on this team is the offensive line. They bring in transfer Sam Pendleton, who will be starting at center today from Notre Dame. They bring in Wendell Moy, who is going to be starting at left guard from Arizona. You return your left tackle in Lance Hurd, who was not great last year, but a former 5-star guy. David Sanders is at right tackle, but he will be out today. So it'll be interesting to see who they start over at right tackle. And the run game has always been good under Josh Heupel ever since he got there in 2021. But here's the thing about Joey Aguilar. I think I've said this to you before. I think statistically he's going to be better than Nico this year. And I took the challenge. I watched a little bit of film earlier in the week. The thing about Nico was he was not great for this Tennessee team last year. He often overthrew guys. He was very conservative. He would one read and then start to freak out a little bit when he didn't need to, especially in that Ohio State game. Meanwhile, you look at Joey Aguilar, the play style is very different because he is a gunslinger. Hence, that's why he threw 14 interceptions last year, which led FBS. So it comes the good with the bad with Joey Aguilar. But in this Tennessee offense, the room to throw interceptions is not there, because if you throw too many, the offense won't operate as needed. So rely on your run game heavily, and then when the big play is there, take the chance, and Joey Aguilar will have no problems doing that because he is a gunslinger at heart.
Yeah, I agree. Parker's, same take there with the run game. I mean, I'm a run first type of guy, but especially when you have a lot of, I guess, Parker, is it safe to say some uncertainties with this offense?
Yeah, I mean, it's outside of the quarterback position. It's with the wide receivers as well. Chris Brazzell is your leading returning receiver, and he had just under 400 receiving yards last year. And then Mike Matthews, a former 5-star, hasn't really played. He doesn't have a lot of experience in this offense. He was there last year, got some play time, but wasn't a starter. So there's a lot of concern at the receiver position as well.
Yeah, and I remember on Chase and McJoe, I filled in for Chase one day when we were at the Omni. It was Joe and I. We talked to Ryan Callahan with 24/7 Sports, and I always asked him about the running back room, and he didn't really sound any alarms for me when he goes, just another year. The running back room seems to always be good with Heupel, and same thing you just said there, Parker, about the running back room. I don't want to be too out on Tennessee just yet, but I am very concerned about this offense, because my thing is, if you don't hear too much about just the team in general, that to me raises concerns. It's like saying we're shielding off all the bad and just hoping for the best.
Yeah, I think you need to look, if you're Joey Aguilar, like Parker said, trust your run game. You have a two to three solid running backs in your backfield that I think can get you some positive yardage. Also, if I'm Joey Aguilar, go with your gut. Do what you're good at, and that's scrambling around the pocket. He's an agile quarterback. He's mobile around the pocket. He can get loose and get some positive yardage. I would trust that more than I would trust him to throw the ball downfield. Now, am I saying I don't want to see him throw the ball down the field and try and hit Chris Brazzell for a 50-yard gain? Of course I do. That's football. But at the same time, I think you need to take this from a strategic approach and trust your guts. Trust what your strong suit is, and that seems to be the rushing attack in general for Tennessee. You have solid running backs and you have a good rushing quarterback. So I think that's kind of the strong suit of this offense. Very different from the 2022 team where it was throw the ball down your throat. We're going to throw it 60 yards every pass. I don't think they had the receivers to do that this year. Brazzell and Mike Matthews and whoever else they have on that roster, they're not capable of breaking loose like your Cedric Tillman and your Jalen Hyatt were. But I think you need to trust the strong suits of this offense, and that's the rushing attack. Now, on the defensive front, Syracuse is going to play some conservative ball. They're going to run it and run it and run it just like you are. So I think the defensive front, the front line for the Vols needs to be on point today and limit that rushing attack. And I think that'll be the key to success. I don't think.
What?
Go ahead, Parker. I'm sorry.
So there are also so many questions with Syracuse too, because I mean they lost their running back from last year, LaQuinn Allen. They lost their quarterback, Kyle McCord. I mean, they were airing the ball out. Fran Brown has seen. Think about it. He came over from Georgia. He was the secondary coach, I believe, in 2022, 2023. So he's seen this offense operate before. Now Syracuse has never played against Tennessee before, so it's kind of hard to replicate what Tennessee does in practice. But Fran Brown has seen this offense operate before. That could help them in this game. But Syracuse, think about it, they have a decently tough schedule for an ACC schedule, and they lost a lot of guys from last year. It's kind of hard to know what the identity of either team is going to be because there's so many unknowns.
Yeah, it is a world of unknowns today for the Vols and Syracuse. But I think it's going to be a good game. Obviously going to be a lot of orange in that stadium, and I think the team that wears orange wins. I don't think that's a bold take to say.
That's a great assessment there, Connor. It depends on what.
There we go.
Is it a part of the Wildcat color wheel?
Volunteer orange?
Yeah.
I'd have to look it up. I'm certainly sure it is. Like there's no, like Texas has burnt orange, and that's technically their color. I'd have to look. I'll provide an update when I get a chance on if volunteer orange is in the color wheel. But it is a different orange than Syracuse orange. So
I always thought it was the same. I guess not. A little, I guess different.
It's a little
shit.
darker.
Little
Syracuse is a little darker.
Oh, okay.
Seems like.
That's what the people want to know.
Yes, this is informative sports talk. We're giving it to you right now here on the show. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Last call for phones as we get you out of here in about 15 minutes for the big game of the day, Ohio State and Texas. When we come back, we wrap it up like we always do with playing America's new favorite game. No disrespect to celebrity birthdays. I think that is America's favorite game. But this is America's new 1B favorite game. And that's Where Are They Now? I will host this week. 5 players. We tell you where they play now. That's coming up next on Weekend Huddle. Connor Newt, Nick Frazier, and Parker Kelly here on 102.5 The Game. Tune into ESPN 94.9 The Fan tomorrow at 2 p.m. for our college football game of the week. That is Virginia Tech, the Hokies, taking on the Gamecocks of South Carolina. Presented by Twin Peaks Restaurants and Circus Sportsbook in Kentucky. We were there last week. It's fantastic. Coverage also available on the Game Nashville app and at thegamenashville.com. And that's the end of the read. I was trying to see if there was more, and there was nothing. So welcome back to the weekend update. Weekend huddle here on 102.5 The Game. Connor Newt, Nick Frazier, Parker Kelly here with you. And as we wrap it up with our final segment, we play your favorite game, your new favorite game, with some rule revisions after last week's debacle with Parker Kelly hosting. Gentlemen, it is the same. 5 players, except it's not players. Coaches are now permitted in this game. That can be NCAA, that can be NFL, that can be anywhere you want to put it.
Yeah.
Your first 3 will be within North America. So that's USA, Canada. Your last 2 can be anywhere in the world. 1 point for league, 2 points for precise team. Are we clear on the rules?
Yes.
Yes, we are. I agree. The coaches, adding coaches, a much needed rule change after we got some complaining last week.
Yes.
It was brought up to me as the commissioner. I was like, all right, we'll approve.
Yes. Your complaint was filed to New York, and the commissioner's office has approved. All right, gentlemen. If we are ready, let's go ahead and hit that music. All right. Here we go. In the spirit of Catterday, Kentucky plays Toledo today. I have given you, we will start with a Wildcat.
Jumble. No, I'm just kidding.
Former Kentucky quarterback, one of my favorite Wildcats of all time, Lynn Bowden Jr. Where is the man who beat Virginia Tech in the Belk Bowl? Jake Lyman hates Lynn Bowden Jr., one of my favorites of all time. Nick Frazier, we'll start with you.
And the first 3 are in North America, right?
Yes.
Oh, boy. Lynn Bowden Jr. I'm going to go UFL, going San Antonio Brahmas.
Okay. So UFL San Antonio Brahmas. Parker Kelly, where is Lynn Bowden?
I'm going NFL for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Nick Frazier, you are on the board. He is in the UFL
Bingo.
for the DC Defenders. So Frazier
He's
leads.
backing up Jordan Tiamu?
Yes.
Wow.
Frazier, you are up 1-0. We welcome our very first coach of the, well, technically not our very first coach, but our first allowed coach of this game. Again, a former Wildcat. Where is possibly the worst coach in Kentucky football history? Joker Phillips.
Joker Phillips is, well,
I think I know this.
high school football, maybe? Can I add high school football into this?
You can.
Okay. I'm going to go high school football in the great state of Mississippi.
Okay. That's a wild one. I'm proud of you, though.
Thank you.
Parker Kelly, where is Joker Phillips?
Joker Phillips is still in college football, and he is an assistant coach for UL Monroe.
Joker Phillips is in college football. So, Parker Kelly, you are on the board. He is a wide receiver coach for NC State. So, we are tied at 1. Number 3, a former volunteer legend, former punter, Paxton Brooks. Where is Paxton Brooks playing today?
Paxton Brooks is in the CFL, and I'm going to go with the Montreal Alouettes.
Okay, so the punter in the Canadian Football League. Parker Kelly, where is your friend Paxton Brooks?
Paxton Brooks is in the UFL for the let's go Arlington Renegades.
I almost said Paxton Lynch. Paxton Brooks is in the UFL. So, Parker, you are on the board for that one. He plays for also the DC Defenders.
Wow.
So
I was so close to guessing that. I didn't want to guess Defenders twice.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a wild card. So we are 2-1. Parker Kelly is in the lead. We now move to the overseas portion of the contest. This one's directed for Nick Frazier. Former Mississippi State basketball player, DJ Stewart. Where does DJ Stewart play today?
DJ Stewart plays for the Shanghai basketball team. I don't know. They're the Tigers?
The
or
Shanghai Sharks?
The Sharks? Yeah.
The
Going
Shanghai
Shanghai Sharks in that league.
in China.
Yes.
Okay. So Frazier's going China. Parker Kelly, where is former Mississippi State guard DJ Stewart?
DJ Stewart is playing in Spain for the Barcelona Bearcats.
Nice. He is playing in Slovenia for, oh my God, Cedevita Olimpia Ljubljana.
That's pretty good pronunciation.
Oh, I was so close.
Yeah, you guys were both very, very close. We are not knotted. Parker Kelly is in the lead 2-1 with our final contestant here on Where Are They Now? Former New York Yankee, Luke Voigt. Where is Luke Voigt? Believe he was involved in the Padres trade for Juan Soto
Yeah.
at one point.
He was used as like a little scapegoat of
Yeah, he was just a veteran first baseman. Where is Luke Voigt playing today?
I really want to say the KBO, but I don't know if that's the right answer. Oh, let me think. You know what? I'm sticking with my guns. I'm going KBO. I'm going is it the Kia Tigers? Or
Yeah, Kia Tigers.
yeah, I'm going Kia Tigers. That's where Luke Voigt is, KBO.
In the KBO, the Korean Baseball League, playing for the Kia Tigers. Parker Kelly, this is all or nothing, pal. If Frazier is wrong, you are in the lead. Where is Luke Voigt playing today?
In a desperation heave, he plays for the Dominican Republic for the Santa Rita Tiger Sharks.
Luke Voigt is playing in the Nippon Baseball League in Japan for the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles. So Parker Kelly takes the knee in a pitcher's duel. He wins 2-1. Parker Kelly, we will see you next week as you host the illustrious Where Are They Now?
Well done.
Can't wait.
Cannot wait for that.
You have to get on the board.
Yeah, I told you they were going to be all-timers for the foreign players today. Some names I'm quite certain I butchered, but I think that's the fun in this game.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. We'll get over the hump. But you and me together, you'll help me out get over the hump.
Yeah, I'll coach you up.
Thank you.
We'll get you right. Well, that'll do it for us here on the Weekend Huddle today. Lots of football coming up. Lots of great, exciting games today. Texas, Ohio State, of course, coming up very, very soon. LSU, Clemson tonight, and the biggest game of the day, Kentucky and Toledo. I'm sure the eyes of the nation are on that one and joining me and Big Blue Nation in that one. For Nick Frazier, for Parker Kelly, for Jake Wallman behind the board, my name is Connor Newt saying so long. Enjoy your football today. We will be back on the air with you on Monday, 9 to 11:30 for a Labor Day special of the Weekend Huddle, the long Weekend Huddle, we'll call it. But for now, we say so long. You've been listening to the Weekend Huddle here on 102.5 The Game. See ya.